Hey everyone, it's Miriam Ortiz y Pino with More Than Organized here. I am having some camera issues with my desktop webcam, so I'm doing this on the fly from the phone, which I don't get to do quite as many cool save features and stuff, and the lighting isn't going to be as good because I can't get my phone high enough. So anyway, bear with me. Always a work in progress, this technology stuff, and for whatever reason my camera would just not stay on. It would go on and then go back off. So we're just going to do it this way. So welcome. Today we are going to kind of bridge the gap between the email series I did over the last few weeks and moving into some other paper management issues that many of my clients have. So while I'm kind of gathering my thoughts and taking a deep breath, why don't you go take a quick trip around your own Facebook, people, and invite your friends over to join us as well. That would be great. Because the more people that see this, the more people that can start living richer, fuller lives because they've taken care of all the worry about where to keep things. All right. Let's see. So what I'm going to be talking about today is what to do with all the temporary papers that we have that pile up. They come in and they just start piling up. So let me just take a quick sip of water. The one thing about doing this on the phone is it gives me all these little tips while I'm shooting. Interesting. So they're out there telling people that I'm here. So we're going to wait just a minute to see who joins. See if this makes any difference whatsoever to do it from the phone versus the computer. Always a work in progress, these things. Okay, so let's see. The waiting for file is a thing I talk about in a few different places. There's a couple blog posts about it, I believe, and perhaps, nope, there's a blog post about it somewhere in there. You can search for it. And in the 1-Minute Mail Solution Kit over at morethanorganized.net/opt-in, you can find it there as well, a description of how to deal with it. But I use a folder, an actual physical folder. I have mine right here. Waiting for, I don't know, you're probably saying it backwards, but waiting for means that these things are either things I've already decided I'm going to do at some point. They're just waiting for the right time to start. They are things that are very temporary. So, for instance, I went to the doctor last week and I have several forms for various things that we're going to be getting lab tests on. So we put those into the waiting for folder once the appointments are scheduled so that they're available on the day I have one of the appointments. So we do that. Things like ballet tickets, basketball tickets, orders that you're waiting for. So if you order something from a catalog on the phone and you have a confirmation number or something like that, you can put that in here until you receive it. This is a folder that you can also marry and mirror to one in your inbox in your email so that you can pull orders and things over there as well. It's a good place to store the email that has the login credentials for a webinar you're going to attend, or login details if you don't have all that many. You might want to have a separate one if you have a lot of login details, but I tend to put my orders there and the webinar details and or event tickets that I get are in there. What I also have in here are some of those things that are just kind of one-offs and they don't require their own folder. Like, it's not worth making a whole home for some of these things if you don't use it frequently. So you want to avoid over categorizing by having too many folders for anything in your file cabinet, in your inbox, on your computer. You want to categorize things, but not one slip of paper or two slips of paper in a folder. That's too few. So find the next broadest category up and keep it there. So for instance, there are a few things that I'm looking for: a dining room table and I'm looking for a new bed. And so I have a couple pictures and sources for that in here. I have the drink tickets from Southwest Airlines because I don't travel that often, like maybe 5 times a year. And so I don't have 20 different travel things. I have 3. I have 2 hotel cards and my Southwest drink tickets. So they're right here in the very front. I have my just travel clubs. I have some orders I've done. I have probably a few things that are old and ready to weed out. Oh, I have a couple unresolved or about in progress of being resolved issues with equipment I have. Like, I got a new printer and the ink cartridge that came with it didn't work, so I'm waiting for the replacement one. So I have the details of the conversation I had about the customer service stuff. And I have an issue with Comcast I'm dealing with right now, and so I have the notes from the conversation in here because they're in process. And so the difference, I think, between a waiting for folder and a pending folder is, I think it's resolved. It's done to the best of my ability on my side. I can do nothing else, and I'm waiting to just make sure it waits or it all comes together or the final credit comes in. So it's kind of like the final stage. So the next time I go in to grab that piece of paper is going to be when I use that piece of paper. So next month when I get my Comcast bill, I will look to make sure the thing got resolved. If it has, then the waiting for notes from that call can go away because it will have been resolved. I might need the directions to a wedding that I've stored in here, and on the day of the wedding I grab the invitation and I go where I'm supposed to go, and I know what I'm doing, and that can then go in the trash. So these are things that are here either because they're used very infrequently but regularly, or they are waiting for a specific date and time to be used, and then they can go away. I hope that makes sense to you. Other tip for the waiting for folder is don't use it for the pending things that are still in process of you need to make a call to follow up, or it's your responsibility to follow up on something, because then it might get lost in there a little bit. I really have used this exact same folder, haven't replaced it in 16 years. It's the one I made when I moved back to Albuquerque because I used to have just a space for it in my San Francisco place. So I didn't have a folder, I had a letter tray. But I switched to folder. I like the ones that have seams on the side, so they're actually called file jackets, or you can use an expanding one like this if you have a busier life, so it has a gusset in it. And those are also called expanding file pockets, to get technical. But just keep it going and look at it every once in a while. Make sure you go all the way through it and see if there's anything that you forgot to do. Most of the time it's a thing you saved for the details, but you knew enough of the details from your calendar to not need the actual piece of paper that was in there. What one other? Oh, in regards to like the lab orders and things that you use from the doctor and then you go to the appointment. The other thing that happens on the other side is you get one of those explanation of benefits pages from the insurance company or your Medicaid. And so you want to have the receipt from the doctor's appointment you can keep in there, and then when you get the explanation of benefits you can match them up just to make sure the charges were right, or if you have to do anything else, or you have to call back and have coding changed or whatever the issue was between the doctor's visits and the insurance payout. So that's another great place to keep that kind of stuff. If you have a lot of that, you might want to make a dedicated space, but in the meantime, if it's just a few or a couple times a year, go ahead and just use your waiting for folder for that. When in doubt, check your waiting for folder. Chances are any temporary paper that has been lingering around the desk and you weren't quite sure what to do with it or where to put it, but you didn't want to lose it, you need a safe place to keep it, that's what you put in the waiting for folder. Okay, just a couple other options you could use instead of just a folder or a pocket is some sort of letter tray or a clip on the refrigerator. If you use those magnetic bulldog clips, that's another great place you can do it. Just keep them all in the clip on the fridge and then regularly go through the one clip. All in one place, easy to know what you're looking for, and regularly review it to make sure you aren't overlooking something. All right, hope that helped. Sorry about the technical issues again. Tell all your friends, meet back here next Monday at about 11 a.m. and I will try to figure out what's going on with my camera in the meantime. Anyway, have a great week. Talk to you later. Ooh, reminder, Thursday is the monthly Q&A session at about 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So be sure to check that out. It's always the second Thursday. And to get more details on actually setting up a waiting for file, please go to morethanorganized.net/opt-in and you will get access to the 1-minute mail solution kit. It's in there. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week. Bye.